Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak in 2023, there are 7 million people who reside in Pakistan who are of the Baloch ethnicity. This was an area that never wanted to be part of Pakistan. You can read the history yourself. For 80 years, a systematic genocide has been taking place in Baluchistan. On the 24th of November, 4 Balochis were shot dead by the counter-terrorism department in Pakistan. On the 6th of December, a protest began in Islamabad. They sat down peacefully, blocking Jinnah Avenue, blocking the highway to Srinagar, and demanded accountability from the Pakistani state, its army, and the interim government. What they received, and we'll put some images of your screens, was a brutal crackdown. Women and children lathi charged, packed up, thrown into buses and incarcerated. Women and children, little kids, they picked up and put in jail. Now under immense pressure, the interim government of Pakistan has cracked. They've announced that they're going to release all the women and children. In fact, they're going to release all the protesters, they say, whom they've been managed to identify. There is a Baloch uprising simmering in Pakistan. It has now reached the national capital. The Pakistani army, the Pakistani state, the Pakistani government are running out of options, and they are resolving to brutality. Now, there is a reason you've not heard this until I just spoke about it. Because even though this is happening in the national capital of Pakistan, there is total sannata. You won't find this in the BBC and Al Jazeera and New York Times and scathing editorials in the Washington Post. So you're going to have to suffice with NewsX. Joining us on the broadcast, Group Captain V.N. Jha is with us, Major General P.K. Sehgal joining us on the broadcast as well, as is Rajan Khanna. As more people join in, I think Joyita is with us on the broadcast as well. Group Captain Jha, I'm sure you've seen the visuals of what has happened in the past couple of days in Pakistan. So what do you make of them?
Thank you very much, Rishabh, for taking up this cause of poor Baloch who have been facing this genocide for decades. And it is not in the isolation. What has happened now is not in the isolation. Similar thing has happened so many times earlier in the past. The Baloch people themselves, they don't know how many have disappeared. Sometimes they had the figure of 150,000 people who have vanished. Sometimes some other figures are being given. Government sources had given some figure of about 4,000 people having vanished. But all those are the absolute fact that the people from Baluchistan are vanishing with the concurrence, with the positive hands of Pakistani army. And this is going on absolutely, with the one hand, not knowing the other hand what is happening there. And the worst, the human rights of Pakistan as well as UN Human Rights Commission have given absolutely blind eye to it.
But Group Captain Jha, the human rights in Pakistan, to forget it. No, they've eliminated everyone. We might not know what has happened in Balochistan because nobody's ever revealed it, other than stories that we've done here on NewsX. I found a brave Balochi girl about 7-8 years ago who risked her life to get out videos of the mass graves. But we know what they did in Bangladesh. That was recorded, that was reported. We know how many women they raped and the kind of brutal regime they ran till the very end of liberation. So you assume they're doing the same. So where is, imagine if this was Gaza, sir, if these visuals are happening in Gaza, what would be happening globally?
Absolutely. See, this is where I was trying to hint to. Today, there is absolutely no existence of human rights in Pakistan, but they claim their international amnesty. They are giving the reports. And Rishabh, I'm not sure whether you have seen the human rights reports of 2022 of Pakistan. They have not mentioned any of the Baloch people disappearing from there. Leave Baloch people. They have not mentioned any of the existence of 40 odd tanzims of jihadists in Pakistan. They have not mentioned. And what Amnesty International has given the report to UN, and they have accepted it with the blind eyes. With the absolutely closed eye, they have accepted it. So that is why I was telling you that human rights of UN, they have turned blind eye to Pakistan. What
No,
is
no,
happening
sir,
there.
you and I know where Karima Baloch was found dead. For people watching the broadcast, just Google the name Karima Baloch, okay? And you will find her that she was found dead, killed by the Pakistanis. Guess where? In Canada.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you just put this same name, Karima, on the UN website, you won't get.
No. So Karima Baloch's husband comes out on television and says that the Pakistani ISI killed my wife on Canadian soil. That's the husband saying it on camera. The Pakistani ISI killed my wife. Where was Justin Trudeau? He must have missed it. Joyita, I'm pretty sure that as we speak, Usman Khwaja is lacing up his boots, defending the rights of the Balochis and putting on black armbands for his next match. I'm sure he's doing that, or I might be supposing too much. What do you think?
Well, Rishabh, think of it like this: when we are looking at Pakistan and what is happening in, what is happening with the Baloch population, think of what Washington is doing. Last week, I think last week towards the beginning of last week, who was there in Washington being feted by the civilian leadership of the United States of America, people like Victoria Nuland and Antony Blinken, who were standing hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder with, guess who? It was the Pakistan Army chief. Okay, I mean, they don't even talk to the civilians nowadays. They are only whining and dining the Pakistani army chief. And Pakistan is totally, and all the human rights organizations, they are coming after India. USCIRF, for example, last week also they said that India should be sanctioned for trying to, allegedly trying to kill Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. And you see, when you look at, you scrape a little deeper and you find that all the extremists, war criminals from Bangladesh, all the Khalistanis, all the Pakistani terrorists, so many of them have found shelter in the US, and they have so much influence, this particular Wahhabi lobby, they have so much influence inside the US government. Okay, India, because it has got the heft, the commercial, the defense heft and all, that is why they cannot do anything to us beyond a point. But what are they doing now? What is Mr. Biden and company and the Western world worried about? They are worried about Bangladesh. They are coming after Bangladesh, saying that you're not allowing the Jamatis to contest the elections there. So you see, think of the hypocrisy of the West. You see, Pakistan is doing exactly what it is expected to do, what it has been doing. But not one word has been coming from anybody, not one human rights organization, not from any of the so-called upholders of democratic liberal values.
Yeah, I was just in fact waiting for the tweet from Rihanna. I'm sure it's about to come, ma'am. As we speak, she's probably typing it out. So maybe if we wait a few more minutes during this telecast, I'll be able to showcase that tweet. I'm showing you images on our screens of what Joyita just mentioned. This is Asim Munir with Antony Blinken. This was last week in the US. So let me get General Sehgal on this. General Sehgal, the Pakistanis came and told the media that the army chief was in the US to meet Antony Blinken, and the topmost agenda was, of course, Kashmir. I'm sure Mr. Blinken would have taken up what has been going on. This protest has been going on since the 6th of December in the capital of Pakistan, sir. And I'm sure he's deeply concerned about what is going on there, right? I'm sure he must have discussed it. Maybe we just don't know.
I'm very certain that he must have taken this up, that notwithstanding whether the Western world reports what's happening in Baluchistan or it's not happening. Pakistan is once again suffering from a death wish, similar to what it suffered while in East Pakistan. The brutalities that are being committed, the inequalities that are being put in place, the influx of the Chinese in a very major way. The Baluchistan GDP has come down over the last few years from 4.9 to 3.7. It's a resource-rich province, but the advantage is only equivalent to either China or to the Punjab province. All this is the seventh revolt that is taking place against Islamabad, and this is the most serious one. The previous six were brutally put down, but this time by Baluchistan Liberation Army, though it's been declared as a terrorist organization by UK as well as USA, and that's the main reason that they're not reporting. They are being now supported by Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, and they're being supported by all other regional organizations plus the Taliban. And under these circumstances, Pakistan is now in a state of panic. This time it will find it very, very difficult to either achieve a compromise or to put down this revolt, irrespective of the brutality that they inflict. Because if you notice, in the last couple of weeks, the number of attacks that have been made on the security forces of Pakistan, as well as the Chinese workers, is increasing by the day. And on more occasions, it is the Pakistani security forces which are on the back foot.
Okay.
Not
so
the BLA.
since you mentioned that, so let me now approach it from the different tack. Rajan Khanna, the very fact that the Balochis have come en masse and encamped for 3 weeks on Jinnah Avenue and blocked the road to Srinagar, this is almost, I can't say unprecedented, but in my memory, I have never seen the Balochis come out in so many numbers and reach Islamabad, so much so that the police and the army have panicked and ordered them all arrested.
See, the recent events are the culmination of the long-drawn struggle of Balochis. Let me go into history a bit. Jinnah, the creator of Pakistan, he was Advocate General for Nawab of Kalat. Kalat is a province within Baluchistan. There are certain tribes within Baluchistan like Maris are there, Buktis are there, and Mengals are there. So Nawab of Kalat, he was client of Jinnah. Earlier, he never wanted to merge within Pakistan from 1947 onward. Then he was coerced. There was a kind of quasi-military action in March 1948, and entire Balochistan was incorporated in Pakistan. It is 45% of the total geographical territory of Pakistan, Balochistan. Now, as far as the resources are concerned, it is oil rich, it is gas rich. There are many, rare earth minerals which are found there. And as is the want of Pakistani Punjabi, what happened now, we can draw a parallel between Bangladesh and Balochistan. As is the want of and the habit of the Pakistani Punjabis, they, in the name of Islam, in the name of their, we are, La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, in the name of that, their religious philosophy, they gather together. But when then it comes to the sharing of the resources, at that time the discrimination starts taking place. In Bangladesh, the entire revenue of jute, it was spent on Western Pakistan. As a matter of fact, Islamabad city was made from the revenue what they generated from the export of jute from Bangladesh, and nothing was paid back to East Pakistan at that time. Same phenomena is working in Baluchistan also now. They want to take advantage of the entire, natural resources of Baluchistan. Then the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, when it enters Khunjara Pass, which is our territory,
Yes.
Pakistan, Jammu Kashmir. Yeah, from there, it takes a shape of fork. One way goes through Pakistani Punjab, comes to Sindh and goes to Gwadar. Another way comes from the Balochistan and it reaches Gwadar. Now coming to Gwadar, you see 200 years of attempts of Russia, earlier under the Tsars, then under USSR,
Yes.
and then after 1992, they had one dream. They wanted to reach the warm waters of Arabian Sea,
Yes.
because they didn't have all seasonal ports. Now, it got thwarted by the British while British were ruling India. They created this, line between Afghanistan and India, and Durand line, and buffer state of Afghanistan created because
so,
Russia.
sir, I'm just going to draw it back to the present day events, because as you well know, Rajanji, all the guys who become DGISI, Army Chief, all the top positions, 10th Corps Commander in Rawalpindi, that is the strike corps for Kashmir. All these guys first go and serve in Balochistan. First they go and kill the people there. That's where they do their training. And that's their claim to fame. in securing high rank. Group Captain Shah, let's put an image. We are showing images on our screens. So my point is that in my living memory, I've seen the protests before. They happened in 2022, they happened in 2020, right before COVID. Islamabad has been ghettoed, and the Pakistani state, after its violent crackdown, has been forced to capitulate. They've been forced to release them. Are you seeing something different happening?
Look, actually, we are possibly speaking onto deaf ears. Whether we are speaking for Baluchistan or we are speaking against Pakistan, who is going to listen? See, the West is not interested. West, it suits them somehow. UN is somehow absolutely, muted in their response. It is so surprising, Rishabh. I'm telling you, I have written at least 5 articles on the muted human rights response by the UN on the genocide caused by the Islamists, and I have meant it, especially in the Pakistan. In Pakistan, what they are doing to the others, as well as they are doing to the Baloch.
Okay, hang a second. Can you just put this image on our screens, please? Group Captain Shah, okay. So here is a young boy holding the photograph of his father, okay, with his mother and family members holding photographs of other people who've been killed. It says, Long March for Baloch Missing Persons, Quetta to Karachi. This is a short while back, okay. And if this photograph had been taken in Jammu and Kashmir, the photographer would have won a Pulitzer Prize for this photograph.
Yes,
okay, so that's why I'm showing it, because there are no Pulitzer Prizes for this one. But my question, Group Captain Jha, was, yes, abroad no one's listening, we are listening, okay, but nobody else might be. But for the people of Balochistan who have now reached the Pakistani capital in numbers, who have now faced the brutality, are they just going to pack up and go home, sir?
See, they have no option. They will have to pack up, or they will be made to pack up and go home. And they will be fortunate if they go home. They don't land up anywhere. But there is a link, Rishabh, we must know. When the Baloch party had joined the Imran government, at that time, whatever was the number of the missing person, they had raised a huge hue and cry about that, and almost about 2,000 odd people, they resurfaced and they went to their home. That means all these a lakh or so of the people who are missing from Balochistan, they are in Pakistani jail. They are in some form or other somewhere else.
No, they're in a grave somewhere, most likely, sir. I've seen the photographs of the mass graves.
Yes. They are on the graves as well, because there have been mass shooting, mass murder by the Pakistani armed forces as well as the security forces. So that's the truth on the land. But how much of them will be able to struggle themselves?
Okay, so how do you hide it now? Now they've reached the national capital, Joyita, okay. Like I said, I can't remember, I've seen the Baloch protest before. I've just mentioned the march from Quetta to Karachi. I've never seen them sitting on Jinnah Avenue for the past 20 days. Until, of course, the brutality happened. They were peacefully protesting, the women and kids. In fact, the Pakistani interim government ministers have come out and said that we're releasing the women and kids, thereby accepting that they arrested little children on the street. So where do you expect this to go from here?
Well, it seems right now, you see, this is perhaps we are seeing it for the first time, because they are also reaching a point where it gets impossible for them to suffer the kind of brutalities that the Pakistan army, the Pakistan military, the Pakistan state forces on them. You know, I mean, when we are talking about mass graves, there have been reports of massacres, there have been reports of bombing, Pakistan bombing their own people. It is untold miseries they have been suffering. So it seems that they have also crossed their limits, and now that is the reason why, that is forcing them, that is, or rather, let's put it this way, that that they have got the courage to come and sit in Islamabad for such a long time. So, but at the same time, right now there is one report that is coming in saying that the Pakistani, or that is, I think Islamabad High Court has got involved, and they are asking the police that why are you sending these people back? So let us hope. Sometimes there are times that once in a while Pakistan's judiciary shows some spine. So let us hope it is one.
Well, when they signed all the directives that the dictators give them, overturning the constitution, So I don't know about the spine. It might be there, it might not be there, but it's about dealing with reality. Okay, so how the Pakistanis play the game is, okay, they'll make you think that somebody's on your side to diffuse the situation. So what they're hoping is that these people say, okay, no, now the courts are, are taking our matter seriously. The courts are taking this as seriously as they're taking Hafiz Saeed in 2611. Okay, let's be clear. Yeah. So okay. So let me quickly get General Sehgal. General Sehgal, is there a tipping point, sir? This is not a new issue. It's been there for decades. But is it reaching a tipping point when you see it happening in the national capital in Pakistan, when there is so many crises, the government itself is in limbo, there might or might not be a general election, there's a political crisis, economic crisis, military crisis. Is there a tipping point being reached, sir?
Absolutely and totally. Others may not agree, but it's absolutely at a tipping point. The fact that the Pakistani army and the Pakistani interim government is in a state of panic, the fact that the Pakistani army is capitulated, it's all indicative of the fact that Pakistan realizes that if a ruthless action is not taken, it will backfire exactly in the way it backfired in Bangladesh. People are now absolutely fed up of Pakistan rule, and they are also totally fed up of the fact that all promises made to them in the past, when 6 times rebellion took place, were absolutely ignored once they went back peacefully. They have no faith and no trust in the Pakistan dispensation whatsoever. They have no faith in Pakistani ISI or the Pakistani army. It is definitely a tipping point, and it is for Pakistan now to act judiciously as against taking a action.
Now my last question is going to be Rajanji, and it's going to be one of curiosity. Rajanji, now the Chinese get away with it in Xinjiang with the Uyghur Muslims. Okay, nobody seems to notice that 1 million of them are in internment camps. Fine, the Chinese have long arms, big muscles, lots of money. We know what they did with the WHO and whatnot. Okay, so fine. How is Pakistan getting away with it? The Americans are not in Afghanistan. They don't need a supply route. They know exactly what these guys are, what they do. How do they keep getting away with it? Where are the protests in London, Washington, outrage in Paris? Where is all of it?
Yeah, before coming to this point, I would like to tell you the Operation Raddul Fasad, which is going on right now. It was started by Rahil Sharif, erstwhile General of Pakistan Army Chief, then was continued by Kayani, then by Bajwa, and now this man Asim Munir. Now you see, it is now attaining. I can predict some kind of. I can hypothesize it based upon the past movement. 1948, they started movement again. When Ayub Khan took over in 1958, again the movement was revived, and then 62, 63. Then after Bangladesh was made, they started movement in 1972, and it lasted 1973 during Bhutto's period. When Zia came, and he handled countless people at that time. They were found missing, they were murdered, women were raped. It was an era of barbarism. Then in 2003, again when this movement was revived, Nawab Akbar Khan Bukti, he took it to the new levels. In 2006, General Musharraf, he ruthlessly killed Nawab Bukti.
Yeah.
Now, based upon the past incidents and what is happening now, and the international geopolitics, when we come to why Pakistan is being
Okay, I think we lost the connection there. I'm short of time. Group Admin Jha, quick last thoughts. Maharam, who has now come out and made a demand for global support. I'm assuming, sir, she is shortly going to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, she has requested for the global support. PM Modi had given this support long back.
From the Red Fort, yes.
Absolutely, when he had sounded the woo that the Baloch people were going through, and he had narrated some of the stories, some of the people who spoke to PM Modi. So I can only hope that the ears within Pakistan, that UN that is relying on those ears, they get some senses to voice at least those concerns. I'm pointing at the Human Rights Agency, the Watch, either it is SRW Human Rights Watch, or it is the Amnesty International Pakistan, or some other form. I hope their ears are open and at least they voice these concerns to the UN in their annual report, so that UN can have something on its table to look at it. Right now, UN doesn't have that. Rishabh, if you can grant me 30 seconds.
Yeah, please
I
finish.
had completely studied and analyzed the UN report, annual report of Pakistan 2022. And the opening sentence says that the human rights agency, whether it is Amnesty International or someone else, are under the threat, making the report under the threat of duress, of disappearance or the rape or other things. And that report is being taken by
Okay.
UN. It's very sad that.
So I'm going to be upfront. Okay, what I'm expecting, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic or cynical here. I'm really expecting that this is going to happen in the next couple of days. Number one, all the photographers who are covering this are going to be nominated for Pulitzer Prizes. Number two, Vanishing Baloch, whom you've just seen, is going to be nominated for a Nobel Prize. Okay, and Justin Trudeau is going to come in front of the Canadian people, and he's going to explain how Karima Baloch was killed by the Pakistani ISI on Canadian soil after her husband came and said it openly. Now, if none of these things happen, that gives you an indication that all the people who talk about cricketers in Australia, talking about Muslim lives matter, Islamophobia, these are Muslims being killed in a systematic genocide by an Islamic republic. There are young girls, women, kids whom you're seeing on your screens being beaten up by the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and there is zip, Sanata. There's no OIC meeting, Erdogan is not getting upset. Why? Strange, no?
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.